Assassin's Creed Shadows has tons of different weapons that you can use and change your playstyle and be overpowered and have a lot of fun with the game. And today we're going to dive into the top weapons for you to check out and make sure you pick up as you play the game. You can get a lot of these early, and there's targeted loot as well in the game, so you're able to get tons and tons of stuff. Again, the game is pretty straightforward, a lot of very cool systems, and you're going to have a good time with this game if you follow along and just learn about the systems as well. So, here we go. Let's get into it. Thank you for watching. And if this is useful, make sure you leave a like and a comment so we can build the channel with no commercials and no ads and just straight up us. And we're going to start off with the long katana. Okay. This is one of the weapons you'll start off with as far as the weapon type. And then there's a bunch of weapons in here that I've used throughout my playthrough. Quick little disclaimer, I've played over 100 hours and I pretty much know what's best when it comes to these weapons because I use them extensively. We're going to start off with the top ones that I've been using a lot of. This right here. This is actually an ability that you can unlock as a passive, which lets you basically block an attack and then counter attack, in other words. And so on the skill tree, when you go to the katana, you can see right here, you'll be able to hold L1 after a block. You'll be able to use this. And what happens is you do some critical hits. You can even regen your health. So it makes it very strong. But having a weapon like this on your arsenal can be very good. You can make specific builds to play with it so that you can have parries and blocks as a system. We're going to get into that in a minute, but that's super key. Then after that, we're not going to really talk too much about these outside of the Crimson's Edge. This one right here allows you to do bleed damage to enemies with amazing to kill off enemies. Pretty easy to use, and you're going to make a bleed build with this if you really want to. And I would recommend those two for the katanas. Now we're going to get into the real bleed builds, the Narinagas, and there's a bunch of great ones actually. This weapon is super useful. You can basically have range attacks, you can be super aggressive, but this right here specifically, Vengeful Foe, allows you to get 30% damage build up after a parry. You can create parry builds in this game where you can block unblockable attacks and parry it so that you can do this on top of that and make a crazy build that's a lot of fun. And I've been stacking up bleed on this build because the Narinaga also has bleed in the skill tree. So when you go to the skill tree, you're able to do this attack here, which has a 35% bleed buildup. And they actually fall to the floor. And so you can run up to them and end up finishing them off. I finished off top bosses with this attack alone and then hitting them while they're down, pretty much completely wiping them. You can stack up a whole lot of good things with it, so I recommend it. Then you have other ones that I used early on that I thought were pretty fun and interesting, but again, this is preference and choice about what you want to do. Learning the systems and seeing how block works. If you block a lot, you can stack this up and end up getting some high damage. After 2 or 3 blocks, you'll get extra damage and do some work with it. That was one of the early ones that I picked up. This one right here, not really so much, not really that interesting in my opinion. But yeah. Then another one that I really like is if you like to pop your afflictions on people with this type of weapon, you can get your adrenaline chunks. This is super critical if you're going to use your abilities all the time. I would recommend this tremendously. It's a very fun way to play. Now we're moving on to Cannibal. This is one of the ones that I fell in love with and I believe is the most hardcore weapon in this game. You could just slaughter people pretty intensely. The Boulder Fall, super amazing. You basically go to attack. This is a slower weapon, but you go to attack and it doesn't get interrupted. So no matter if you get hit, you could face tank it and do a hit back. And the way I do this is I stack up my charge posture to be faster. So on top of getting uninterrupted, I'm able to just strike faster, more consistent. And this is a really strong one, in my opinion, that I absolutely love and that I think everybody should give a shot to. Righty. And then there was the one and the only that I actually was using for a while. Devastation. It's a skill ability. Again, a lot of these are tied to the skill, but there's a skill ability that does some hardcore damage. And when you knock people out, I'm telling you, you can do extra damage. You can control a whole area if you knock some people out. And it's called Devastation. And we're going to go to that right now so you can see more or less how it works. So as you can see right here, at the end result, you're going to knock someone back and knock them out to the ground. And that's going to allow you to do an extra shot while they're down. So just imagine they fall down and you can control the scenario and just be devastating people as you go. So personally, I love it. And it's a good combo, in my opinion, to put together when it comes to these weapons. Now we go into the bow and arrow. This is my favorite one, Dragon's Wrath. And the reason why, you got instant charge bows, super necessary. And then I put on a engravement called special. It allows you to have special ammo instantly triggering affliction in the head. So I put on poison or bleed, and it does extra damage. And if you put on poison, a little pro tip, you actually can daze the enemies and they'll start throwing up. And it gives you a chance to still stay in stealth and hit them with another bow and arrow or run at them and attack them, whatever you want to do. And this is the best two combinations that I liked for that playstyle that I've really enjoyed, that I thought was super useful. And that's the number one for me personally. Now to talk about another one here, and this is more about a skill. I know I keep going back to the skills. Retreating shot pushes enemies back. All right, and we're gonna go to retreating shot so you can know more or less what it looks like and how does it work, and you can judge for yourself. So as you shoot this, you're kind of dodging, being able to shoot 4 shots in a row. But think about this. You're coming at you and you're going to shoot all these shots and then they're going to get pushed back. So it gives you room to continue a fight if you want to be aggressive. So a good way to play. Trust me, the bow and arrow is clutch if you want to stealth with YASUKE, but it's also powerful to just put out some damage and go crazy with. So those are the two when it comes to the bow and arrow that I really like so far. Now the number one Teppo that I absolutely love is called Dynasty Ender, and it suppresses firing noise. So basically turning this into like a stealth style play, enemies can't really hear you. And then I just added an extra multiplier shot so that you can do extra damage. Again, you don't have to put that in there, but with this you can play stealthy. The other weapons you won't be stealthy with, just to break the news. But of course you can always get this engravement and then put it on other weapons that you might say, oh, this is perfect for the way I would like to play and my play style. One of the play styles that I had was about reloading faster, and this is the best one in my opinion here. Combination is called Death's Bloom, and basically drastically reduce your reload time. Then I added 9% tempo reload when health is full. If you're using this weapon, most likely your health is full and you're just trying to take out a couple of enemies. So I put this together and created a good combo that basically gave you reload speed fast. So you can use this on the go and go pretty crazy with it. And that's the general breakdown on some of the weapons that I loved from YASUKE. And just to kind of talk about a little bit of different things, that I'm going to showcase some of the builds so you can understand how I set these things up. We're talking about the Narinaga with the bleed effects. Well, guess what? I have other things that I can complement that with and put on, kind of help you see. Same thing with the amazing Cannibal. I have the unblockable attacks, and I have the parry being able to heal me, so it's kind of like a tank field. So I'm kind of complementing, for example, 24% damage on my next hit after a parry. That complements some of this where I'm going to parry and then go into my attacks and go crazy. It's a lot of ways to play and fun styles that you can have depending on what you're into and how you feel best. For example, the bleed effects putting that on and then changing some of the things to give it better buffs and so on. It's just a really cool system where you can change and alter things. And of course, I have the engravement breakdowns for you to know how to change these and make them play and fit your play style so that you can be good to go when the time comes. Of course, you know, everybody has their own preferences, their own play styles, and their own, you know, unique way that they would like to play. And that's why I have different builds so that you can learn, grow, and figure it out on your own as you play the game and, you know, experiment. That's the best advice. And that's pretty much the general breakdown on some of the best weapons when it comes to Yasuke. Of course, we have some of the best gear. I did pick up all the gear. I also picked up tons more. So I have deep dives into all of it. You can go into the channel and check it out for yourself. Should be popping up on screen. Other than that, if it was helpful, leave a like. If you're looking for where these are, leave a comment. I have it in the comment section, a link to where to find these, and you can go from there and enjoy yourself. Have fun, and I'll see you on the next one. Stay safe. Peace.